Good day, everyone. This is Gerald Bakshal, a BSc Math 3 student of Negros Oriental State University, Shatun campus. And for today's lesson, I am tasked to tackle about Fiedler's contingency models of leadership. But before we proceed, here is our objectives for today's lesson. The pre-service teacher will be able to explain the Fiedler's contingency model of leadership, assess situational favorableness to determine leadership effectiveness in a specific environment, and develop appreciation in Fiedler's contingency model of leadership. Fred Fiedler was the first amongst all the leadership theorists to talk about the situational variables. According to him, the effectiveness of the leadership style depends on the situation. Thus, he along with his associates identified the situational variables and studied about the relationship with the appropriateness of leadership styles. Fiedler's contingency model is comprised of three elements: leadership styles, situational variables, and the relationship between styles and situations. When we talk about leadership style, according to Fiedler, the leadership style depends on two dimensions: task-oriented and human relations-oriented. The task-oriented leader is primarily concerned with the task performance and accomplishment of task goals. He gets satisfied with accomplishment of task performance, while the manager concerned with human relations lay more emphasis on developing interpersonal relationship with his subordinates. In order to understand the attitude of a leader, Fiedler developed a least preferred coworker skill or LPC, wherein the leaders are asked to rate a person on a scale ranging from lowest 1 to highest 8 on several parameters to identify the worker with whom they least like to work. Certain parameters on the LPC scale are pleasant or unpleasant, friendly or unfriendly, tense or relaxed, supportive or hostile, cooperative or uncooperative, quarrelsome or harmonious, etc. The leaders with high LPC scores are said to be relationship-oriented, whereas the ones with the low LPC scores are considered as task-oriented. Second, situational variables. It has been observed that several situational factors influence the effectiveness of the leadership styles. But however, Fiedler has talked about three critical dimensions. Leader's position power. This statement is concerned with the power or authority a leader derives from the position held by him in the organization. It has been observed that a manager with absolute power influences the behavior of others more than the ones without power. Next, task structure. The task structure means the extent to which the task requirements are clearly defined in terms of the task goals, processes, and relationship with other tasks. It has been observed that with a clear definition of task structure, the action of the subordinates can be well directed and their performances can be well controlled, which may not be possible in case of unclear task structure. Next, leader-member relations. This dimension talks about the degree to which the members have trust, confidence, and faith in their manager. Next is the last one. Relation between styles and situations. This is the last element of Fiedler's contingency model, wherein he talks about the relationship between the situation and the appropriateness of leadership style. According to him, the leadership effectiveness depends on the situation. As one style favoring one situation may not necessarily be appropriate in any other situation. Thus, it is the situation that gives an opportunity to the leader to influence his subordinates through the right kind of leadership style. Thus, Fiedler's contingency model posits that the situation decides the style of leadership and influences the behavior of a manager. Next is the advantages and disadvantages of contingency theory. The primary advantages of contingency theory include the following. It provides a realistic view of management and organization. It discards the universal validity of principles. Managers are situation-oriented and not stereotyped. Lends itself to an innovative and creative management style. The negatives of contingency theory include it does not have a theoretical base. Executive is expected to know all the alternative courses of action before taking action in a situation that is not always feasible. It does not prescribe a course of action. A situation can be influenced by many factors. It is difficult to analyze all these factors. Now, let's move on to the contingency theory examples. Examples of Fiedler's theory in action. We've mostly been discussing Fiedler's model in theory. Now, let's take a look at some real-world scenarios that will help clarify what it might look like in an organizational setting. Let's have scenario number 1. Newly hired co-manager at the startup. Imagine you've just been hired as a co-manager of a startup tech company. The team of 12 has been working together for a little over a year. You were brought on by the existing manager to help improve the company's strategy. Choosing the right leadership style is important if the leader and team want to succeed. Fiedler's contingency model of leadership provides a straightforward method to check if the leader is the right fit for the situation. The model does not only help build impactful leaders, but also helps them recognize potential leaders. But before I end up with this discussion, may I ask you a question? What is your idea about Fiedler's contingency model of leadership? That's all for today. Until next time, thank you for your cooperation. God bless us all. For the recapitulation of our topic last meeting, contingency model of leadership. Fiedler's contingency model of leadership is a business framework that evaluates the effectiveness of a leader in an organization. Fiedler's contingency model of leadership states that a leader's effectiveness is based on the situation. The framework argues that there is no one best style of leadership. The premise for this model is that an individual leadership style is the result of their life experiences and therefore extremely difficult to change. Instead of trying to change one's leadership style, the organization should match a particular leadership style to a specific situation. Who created Fiedler's contingency model of leadership? The creator of the contingency model of leadership is Fred Fiedler, one of the leading researchers in organizational psychology of the 20th century. He helped the leadership and organizational performance field of research move from the research on traits and personal characteristics of leaders in leadership styles and behaviors. Fred Fiedler developed the contingency model of leadership in 1967 as a solution to the trait and behavioral theories, failing to produce a relevant framework for leadership dynamics. What are the two types of leadership styles according to Fiedler's contingency model of leadership? Fiedler's theory of leadership is based on two factors: leadership style and situational favorableness. In the context of this theory, leadership style is fixed and therefore can be measured using the least preferred coworker or LPC skill, a skill developed by Fiedler.
The LPC skill is a questionnaire that helps the leader to understand their specific leadership style. The leader is asked to think of all the people they have worked with and when describe the person with whom they have worked less well. Using a series of skills of 1 to 8, leaders who score 64 and above have a relationship-oriented leadership style. These leaders derive satisfaction from interpersonal relationships and tend to rate their less preferred coworkers in a more positive manner. Leaders who scores 57 or below have a task-oriented leadership style. These leaders tend to rate their less preferred coworkers in a more negative manner and get satisfaction out of successful task performance. What are the three contingencies of Fiedler's theory of leadership? After the leader discovers the orientation of their leadership style, let's move on to the second factor of Fiedler's contingency model of leadership. Situational favorableness. Situational favorableness or situational control describes the leader's ability to control the group situation. More specifically, the degree to which the leader can influence the behavior of group members in order to face the current situation. The factors that determine the favorableness of a situation are leader-member relations, task structure, and leader position power. Fiedler's contingency model of leadership. Leader-member relations. The leader-member relations factor of Fiedler's contingency model of leadership refers to the degree of mutual trust, respect, and confidence between the leader and the subordinates. When the leader-member relations are good, the leader has a high degree of control of the situation, which makes the situation more favorable for the leader. When leader-member relations in the group are poor, the leader has to shift focus away from the group task in order to regulate behavior and conflict within the group. Next is Fiedler's contingency model of leadership, task structure. The task structure factor refers to the extent which group tasks are clear and structured. When task structure is low and structured, group tasks are ambiguous, with no clear solution or correct approach to complete the goal. Conversely, when task structure is high, structured, the group goal is cleared and straightforward and members have a clear idea about how to approach and reach the goal. Next is Fiedler's contingency model of leadership, leader position power. The leader position power factors refers to the amount of power the leader has over the group. For example, to which extent the leader can reward or punish the group's member. The stronger the power, the higher the degree to which the leader can control the situation. When the position power is weak, leaders cannot control the resources, so they lack the same degree of situational control as leaders high in power.
Thank you for watching.